What's going on, everybody? Mezariah here, back with another video. Before we start this video, please like this video, subscribe to my channel. Please help me grow this channel organically, authentically. Today's video is going to be about not letting the warlock in, or the witch, because a lot of people dealing with witches, a lot of men deal with witches, a lot of men in the Bible dealt with witches. I will say women that were deceptive and manipulative, or not even gonna just put witch on their names like that. But a lot of men don't really talk about other warfare with the men, that they go through, because a lot of men fall at the hand of women. And for some reason, I deal with more so warlocks than witches, because it's just, I don't know really why, but I think I have an idea of why I deal with more so with warlocks than witches. But the reason I want to come up on here today and let y'all know how to evade, how to stay away from warlocks, from jealous men, hateful men that want you dead. God considers you a murderer if you hate your brother without cause. There's a lot of men that hate their brother or hate other men for no reason. They just want to torment them because they hate their life. And I'll say, I want to do a story time after I give y'all a little edification, because I want to go in depth. I always like to be transparent about what I'm talking about. So I'm going to elaborate after I give this little piece of, what I really want to instill in people. So a lot of y'all, you have people pulling on y'all energy, just pulling on y'all spirits. I'll say that. They can't let you go. They are obsessing over the light. And a lot of them don't know that it's the light of Christ. It's the light of Christ. And they're trying to figure out why you have this aura or this spirit on you. And they don't want to admit that it is Christ. That they don't want to admit, because it means that they have to denounce their gods. They have to leave the witchcraft alone. They have to humble themselves. They don't want to do that. They don't want to admit that it's Christ, but they can't stop obsessing and trying to chase what is yours and what God gave you, the virtues God gave you. And they will not stop. They won't let up. Some of y'all, it's been probably 5 years, 10 years, and these people still think about you, obsessed with you. And I'm not trying to stroke nobody's ego. This is real life. This is real life. A lot of people think this is like we're trying to like gas people or make people's head big. That doesn't flatter me at all. When people are obsessing, I could care less if anyone is obsessing over me or whatever virtues that I have or whatever. I could care less about it. But it's the truth, because the people that are in darkness, they want that light. They want it, but they want to steal the light. They don't want to get it for themselves, the legal way. They don't want to do the work. They don't want to put in the work and fight their flesh. They just believe that it belongs to them. And these people have been pulling on our energy for years at a time, pulling on our spirits for years, and they just won't let it go. Whatever we have, they want. It could be the fact that you have a gift, like dreaming or vision. It can make you look powerful when you have a gift like that, and they want it, and they believe that that you really have it. So they want it for themselves, especially other spiritual people that may not be in line with Christ or God. They still understand spiritual things, but on another spectrum. They want that. Those warlocks and those witches, they on the other side of the spectrum, and they want that from you. And that's what's so sick. They are trying to pervert these gifts that they have, and they want to use it for their evil. And it's so many people out there that are trying to keep us in this state of this cat and mouse game. You know what I mean? Like they want to keep playing this game that they think that you have no idea of. And lo and behold, every time we go to sleep, every time we wake up or we have visions and dreams, God is showing us when you're coming, how you're coming, what type of time you on, all of that. And it just goes to show you how audacious these people are, these warlocks and these witches are. They they're so egotistical. You know, I was just watching this TikTok earlier, and this girl was like, she said something along the lines of, um, when they find out I'm a witch and that I can do this and I can do that, and they don't know what type of time I'm on. It was just real arrogant and egotistical, right? It was just basically saying that I'm a witch, and she was displaying and glorifying that she was a witch, and you better not mess with her. And it's stuff like that that just makes me want to just challenge those people. Like I would love to challenge you, and I'm not even gonna put that out there because I'm not gonna test God, right? Because I'm not gonna ask for something that I don't want. I mean, because I don't want any more chaos in my life. But these people don't know the power of God. They don't know the power of the Most High and His Son Christ. They don't know. They don't know what prayer does and fasting does. They don't interpret that the same way they interpret their witchcraft. But I say it to say you gotta stay prayed up. And when you are fasting, man, you are fighting so strongly when you are fasting. You are stopping so many evil attacks from harming you. You may even see the attacks form when you're fasting, but they never come to swallow you because of the covenant you are in with the Most High, with the Father. So stay prayed up and stay fasting. And Psalms, read your Psalms. And I have to stay prayed up on my Psalms because I have to be a little bit more diligent with, you know, using Psalms in my prayer because there's so many people against you, you know, especially when you are a dreamer and you are dreaming constantly. Time just goes fast. You wake up, it's like you have all these scriptures on your mind, you use them to fight your battles, and you fight and you pray and you fight and you pray. It's a lot. It becomes overwhelming sometimes, but you know that God gets you through it all the time. And I'm speaking on a warlock today, right? Because these people don't stop. I have multiple people that will not leave me alone in the spirit, and they just keep testing me, trying me, thinking that I'm a fall, thinking that they can have access to my spiritual house, and it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Even if a person see, and the lights flicker. You know, it's funny. Um, I recorded a video before this and I had to delete it because I had to start over, and the lights flickered like 4 or 5 times. I'm not joking. And that's how I know these witches and these warlocks, they don't stop. They just keep trying. And they always fail. They like Team Rocket. They try and try, and they never lose faith in their father, the devil. But this person in particular that I want to talk about, I'm not going to name names because I don't care, but I want people to know that you don't have to be scared of a warlock or a witch or what they may do to you, and you have the authority of Christ in you, working in you, but you have to stay prayed up. You have to stay doing the work and letting your peace be still. But this person I've known for years, basically all my life since I was like 6 years old, and he is a warlock. I'm not going to say I haven't seen him in some time. Maybe he changed some things around. Maybe he's not in active witchcraft anymore. But from what I know, from where we left off, he was a warlock. And he had a spiritual mother. And I remember back in 2020, I was in his house one day and I was hearing some things from him that I didn't find to be good, you know. And even then, I was still kind of ignoring God because I was still growing in my gift of having dreams and stuff. And he was telling me how he was hurling curses at his neighbors and doing all of these things. And it was just so weird because I'm like, why do you feel like you have the comfortability to tell me this? And I'm just like still playing kind of like I felt like I was like torn between a friend that I've known for a long time as opposed to, you know, the God that I serve. And I was just stuck, you know. But into myself, I'm like, nah, let me stay away from him. But I remember staying over his house this night, that night, and I had like five dreams. I had five dreams. And I woke up and his spiritual mother was in the house. It's an older lady. And his spiritual mother was in the house and she wanted to know what I dreamt. And I just told her it was some bad dreams. These were some bad dreams that I had, but they weren't necessarily about them. And for some reason, God just never let me tell them exactly what the dreams were. You know, for some reason, I don't know how I got around that, but that was just God intervening. And I I left the house feeling so uneasy. You know, it was such a weird feel. And because it's you have to understand, right? When you are comfortable and familiar with the person, it's hard to believe certain things. You know, even though it's blatant, but you still don't know the depths of certain things that people are doing and how deep all of these spiritual things go, like witchcraft, when you are growing in your prophetic gift. You don't know. You don't because you're at the beginning stages, you're just being opened up to the spiritual realm and how God is working. You always knew God, but it was according to religion. It wasn't according to the spiritual realm and how these things manifest in the spirit before they come to the flesh and all these things. And that was like that's what I was trying to get through. So God used that to strengthen me and to teach me lessons. So a week later I go home, I'm home and he calls my phone and he's telling me that his spiritual mother wants to know what I dreamt. And I'm like, why do you want to know so much? I thought we were done with that. Why do you still want to know what type of dreams I had? That was so weird. It was so weird. And of course that was when I was like, yeah, something up with y'all. Cause ain't no way I'm about to tell you what I dreamt. And that's when I realized that witches and warlocks really like dreams. They want to know your dreams so they can kind of intercept, so they can understand and what's going on in your mind, what God is telling you, and how they can fight against you and how they can manipulate you. They want to know these things. And I'm so thankful that I did not say anything because I wasn't supposed to say anything because of what he was planning. And lo and behold, I was right. I was correct because I consistently fought him in the spiritual realm so many times, and this man will not stop. I mean, for over a few couple years, he's kind of let up, but he won't stop. And it's like it's disheartening because this is a person that I love. You know, we knew each other for a long time, and he's a little older than me. He's a little older than me, and it just sucks because like why do I have to go through these things, you know? And that's how life is. Life is just so unpredictable like that. When the people that you know, you were the closest to at one point, they turn on you. They were never really someone you were supposed to be in covenant with. And another time when I battled him in the spiritual realm, this man hurled into my house. He hurled into my house from a pit of darkness. He just came hurling into it like he didn't even walk. It was like, it wasn't even himself, but I felt that it was him. I didn't see his face, but I felt that it was him. And he jumped into my room that I used to create things, right? And that was one time, which was an alarming thing. And I rebuked him so hard in that dream. So it was another time when it was so urgent. God snatched me out of my body. This wasn't even a dream. He took me out of my body like Ezekiel. Ezekiel in the Bible, he was a prophet that was able to go through different dimensions. And he was able to see things that the average person wasn't able to see, that God allowed him to see. So God snatched me out of my body and dragged me to my living room in the spirit. And there he was, right in my living room, rubbing a cat, looking, monitoring something. And he was rubbing that cat like he was an evil villain. And I'm just there looking at him like, huh, okay, wow. And that was one of the first time I experienced an out of body experience. And it was so vivid, it was so real. It was no way that it wasn't real. It was just insane to see. And one of the last times he he attempted to come into my house, and he was in the dream, basically coming through the door, and my mother let him in. I don't know why that happened, but I prayed against that dream. But in that dream, he came into my house, shook my hand, and he put me outside of my own spiritual house, meaning he took over my house. He is almost like he's trying to destiny swap in a sense. He's trying to take something. He he wants something spiritually because he is spiritual. He is into spiritual things, but not on the spectrum that I am in. And he literally came into my house, took it from me, and I was outside of my house looking at him through the window. He had gained access to my house and locked me out. That is vile, wicked, beyond measures. And these people that do these things, they are hunting us. They're hunting us in the spirit. And if you don't know God, if you don't know Christ, these are the things that people are able to get away with when you do not know Christ, when you do not know God. You have to stay prayed up. You have to continuously seek Him and go to your God about these people, because when you're living and you're just oblivious to the things around you, and you don't know why your life is the way it is and who is doing it. You don't even think that someone is doing this. You just are an accountable person that is just taking accountability. Like, okay, well, I guess this is me messing this up and I'm doing this. And yes, it is to some degree, but there are outside factors. There are people outside of you that cause these things, that are infested with spirits and demons that are causing you, because you have open portals. You have open doorways for these people to come in. And this person is is more like a cancer. They're cancers to us. That's what they are here. They're here to destroy us, and that's what cancer does. It destroys us. They want to come in your life, take it, steal it, and leave you with nothing. That's essentially what they want to do. Because whatever you have, it could be anything. They want it. They want it for themselves. So, um, I, I wanted to add another part of that story because I want to show you how deep how obsessed these people are, how deep it goes with these people, and how many times they try and try and try. This person, I was in Atlanta about three and a half, I'll say 2.5 years ago, and this was during the summertime. Uh, No, this is like 3.5 years ago. Yes, 3.5 years ago. This was in the summertime in Atlanta, and I'm coming home. Me and my friend get on a plane because we get on Southwest, and it's Friday the 13th. It's August 13th, Friday the 13th. And let me show you how God works, because God is so amazing. Because that flight took about, I don't know how long, that it was delayed for hours. It was delayed, and it was delayed for a reason because God didn't want me to see him. But he did gain access to my house because a person let them in, and which is so insane because he gave this person a bracelet. He gave this person a bracelet, and anybody that's really spiritual, that understands spiritual things, you know, them gifts that witches and warlocks give. Those, oh man, these witches and warlocks, they give you gifts, mostly bracelets, and they're doing all types of witchcraft with them. They're doing all of these things with them. And when I got home, I had found out that he was in the house, and I didn't know that he had given this person a bracelet. So when I found out, I immediately told that person to throw it away. And the crazy thing is that person didn't want to throw it away because this person doesn't understand spiritual things like we understand spiritual things. And eventually I got that person to throw it away. I remember making a mistake in touching it. I had grabbed some toilet paper and I touched the bracelet, picked it up, attempting to throw it away, but somehow I still managed to touch it with my pinky. And that's when I was still on semen retention, and I had broke it a day later because of me touching that bracelet. So that was indication that he was using that bracelet to steal something from me. He was trying to steal whatever I had, whatever he wants. I don't know exactly what he wants, but he knows it's, I know it's spiritual. And I kept, for some reason, I think he gave me a bracelet like two different times. He gave me a bracelet once before that, and I kept it in my room with, and me being silly and just not smart, not understanding how deep spiritual things are. I kept it in my room for some time, but eventually I threw it away. And then that second time when he gave my person, the person that was in the house, that bracelet, that's when I was like, no, that's getting out of this house. And it's so crazy because when that bracelet was in that room of the person that he gave it to, I had a dream, and he was in this dream. He was in the same spot where that bracelet was to the person that he gave it to. That, and he was trying to take a lack of my hair when he was in that dream. He had came into the room and saw me sitting down, kneeling down, and he had took a lack of my hair and he had ran out of the house. And I had ran after him and caught him. And then they came back, which was his spiritual mother, which is so crazy. His spiritual mother was in the getaway car when waiting for him to get out, to come out the house and drive off. But somehow it was like this invisible force that made the car crash. And they came back and they approached me because they realized that they were caught. And for some reason, I don't know why I couldn't. This is when I was still spiritually growing, but in the dream, I crashed out. I was cussing them out. I was saying all types of stuff, and I was just going off on them. And I think that was one of the probably like the second time that I saw something with pertaining to them in the spiritual realm. And it was just, it's mind boggling to see things like that, because when God is giving you repeated messages about specific people, it's like you want to gaslight yourself into thinking that no, they can't possibly do this. They can, and they are, and they will if you let them. They will. And that's why you have to be so strong. It takes a special kind of strength to hear God, to see what He is saying, to know what He is saying, and to act on it, especially when it's involving another person, especially when it's involving a whole other person that you've known for so long. And they can't, they can't have it. They can't. You cannot allow them to have whatever they are seeking. You cannot allow them to do it. That's why you have to have the spiritual strength. You can cuss people out all day, but that's not going to stop them from doing what they want. If you have that real spiritual strength, authority in Christ, Yeshua, you will move mountains. You will evade a lot of attacks. So what helped me evade every attack was because I stayed consistent in prayer. All of the attacks that he was sending my way, every time he tried to come up against me in the spiritual realm, after every dream I woke up from, after every vision or experience that I had in the spiritual realm, I got up and prayed. That's the first thing you do. You pray. You have to have a prayer life. That just shows you how important your prayer is, because we have authority in our voice. God does not lie when he says there's death and life in the power of the tongue. He's not lying. When we speak, words can affect you. That's why when people say like sticks and stone may break my bones, but words can never hurt you. That's not true. That's a lie. That's a lie. Words can hurt you. That's why you get affected and you react to what people say, because they hurt you. They penetrate your spirit. So just imagine you doing that in a holy way when you are praying and protecting your life from the evil that is coming against you, the access that you have now through your prayer. it, and when you are praying, you are doing so many things, and that's what faith is, right? When you have faith, you have faith that the words that you're speaking are working against the pending attacks that are coming against you. You see, you have to have faith because your words are going to the spiritual realm. You can't even see your words going to the spiritual realm, but you have to have faith that they are going there and that God is hearing them. And now those pending attacks are coming against your words that you are speaking in the fasting that you're doing, and they're meeting halfway and they're clashing. And of course, the power of God will always overpower the power of darkness. And then when you're doing it on the foundation of God, you are guaranteed to win. You may go through a little trials, you may go through some things that you may not want to go through, but you're going to get past them. It takes um, another phase. What am I trying to say? Not phase. Another level of strength to be able to have a relationship and a consistent relationship with Christ. It's not hard. His burden is light. So it's not that it has to be hard. If you believe in something like witchcraft, that's why I can never understand like witches and warlocks, right? Because these are people that understand spiritual things. They understand spiritual things. So you're actively going against God by doing witchcraft, but you'll do the witchcraft proudly. You'll do that with no question, because you see the effects. You see how fast witchcraft can manifest into someone's life. But just as fast as it manifests, it can be broken down through real holy spiritual warfare. You see what I'm saying? Like, and that's why a lot of people deal with witchcraft and warlock, because it's more carnal than it is spiritual. Even though it is spiritual, it's more carnal than it is, because it manifests so quickly and it's temporary. Something that is temporary is not of is I'm not gonna say it's not of God, but something that is temporary can never fight against something that is eternal. God's word is eternal. So when you see somebody do rituals under the guise of witchcraft or any type of voodoo or whatever practice you are doing, it it comes fast, it comes quick, but you'll lose it fast and you'll lose it quick. And you got to keep doing those things, sacrificing your blood or whatever, doing blood rituals and stuff, and it's so demonic, and you're getting a prize from the devil, thinking that some people think that they're doing witchcraft in the name of God, and they really do believe it. And whatever, I mean, if that's what they want to believe, then hey, but I know for sure, for certain, if God is exposing that to me, then that means He's showing me that what his way is and what is not what his way is and what is not his way. So if he's showing you all of these people doing all these evil things, then clearly what you're doing is wrong. And and that's what God is doing. He's showing you by the attacks that people are forming against you, are putting out against you, they're shooting against you. He's showing you that these are the bad guys because what they're doing in secret with the rituals that they're doing, with the evil spells that they are casting, that means that they are in darkness. You know, it's real simple when you really get a grasp because these things wouldn't be shown to you, wouldn't be revealed to you if it wasn't evil. You know, yes, God has good things to show you, but most of the dreams that you have are going to be warnings from these attacks. These are warnings. God told you he will scare men at night with warnings in their dreams. So these warlocks and these witches, do not let them in your spiritual house. I have to run that back because do not let them in your house. Simply because once they gain access, they have all legal right to do what they want. And now you have to fight them to get them out. So it's so interesting. I I went on a fast the other day and I saw, some things that I was praying against and fighting against. And I broke the fast. And I was like, man, I'm tired of fasting because I have to fast a lot because these witches and these warlocks won't stop. So I went to sleep and I couldn't remember a few dreams that I had. I'm like, God wants me to keep fasting. He wants me to keep fasting. And as soon as I said, God, I'm fasting, I went right back to sleep and I'm immediately dreaming. So that's the relationship I had with the Father, with Abba. He like I already knew what he was telling me. I literally heard him tell me I didn't audibly tell. He didn't audibly speak to me in this instance, but I I felt him speaking. I felt him saying you need to still be fasting, and that's why you're not remembering what I'm trying to show you. The exact minute I said, "All right, Father, I'm about to fast," when you proclaim the fast, it's activated in that moment, and I went back to sleep, and I'm in the spiritual realm right then and there, and that's the relationship we all should have. Like we should be talking to God, knowing His language, knowing how He speaks. I'm still growing and how He is speaking on certain things, on certain topics. I get impatient with the things that He says because it can be overwhelming when you have to do all of these things. You have to fast a lot when you're in a season of just fasting. But I say that to say these things are necessary to fight against these people that want access to your spiritual home. And when I say access to your spiritual home, I'm talking about inside your inner self, your spirit. But and I also mean literally when you're dreaming, these people can walk into your house in the dream, and that's indication that they want access to your home. And you have to keep these people out of your house. It's a lot. We want to believe that everybody is so kind and they changed, and you don't want to be pessimistic. You don't want to believe that nobody can't change because people can change. Look at me and you. We've changed. We've got reborn. We've been able to get through the trials that were put in our way to get where we are now. But we can't be naive. We can't be naive. And this person is so insane because this same person, came into my house, my spiritual house, last night in my dream. Well, I'll say today, actually, this morning when I was dreaming, he came into my house in my dream. But that was a warning. That was a warning. And of course, I knew not to even dap him up in the dream because he was reaching out for a handshake and I denied it. And I told him, nah, we ain't doing that. And he wanted something else from me. And he thinks he's going to get it. He's not going to get it. And it's just so, man, it's so sad to see so many people against you in the spirit. God will show you the hearts of men, the hearts of women when you are in alignment with Him. He will show you these things, and you have to protect yourself from these witches and these warlocks, because if you allow them to have any access to you, if you're skeptical about someone, don't be too skeptical. Make a decision. Be very uh I'll say be if you feel like you have to risk a relationship, and you just trust your gut. Just trust your gut. Don't keep going back and forth. Or is this person this and this person not? Just even if you're not sure for a moment, be okay with cutting people off momentarily, temporarily. If they're really your friend, they'll understand. If they're really your friend, they'll understand. If they understand spiritual things, especially if they are quote unquote, you know, in the spiritual realm like you. If they understand dreams and God like you, they'll understand, and they won't be offended. So that's all, guys. I hope this helped y'all understand some things, and just stay prayed up. Stay using your Psalms 60, is that 64? I think it's Psalm 64. When you say, God, protect me from the secret counsel of the wicked, that is one of my favorite verses to use when you are praying in spiritual warfare, because this is the secret counsel that they are secretly doing these things that you only God have knowledge of, and the rest of the world don't. And that's why you have to have faith in what God is showing you, even when you don't have the validation and proof of all of these different people, because they didn't see it with their physical eyes. God saw it with His eyes, though, and you saw it. So now you have to make a decision: either trust God or trust what man is saying, or trust what the enemy, or how the enemy is using that person that is attacking you. If they may be lying or trying to manipulate you into thinking that they're not doing anything, and the whole time they really are. But yeah, so stay prayed up, y'all. I love y'all. I just wanted to get this video out and show y'all how to understand spiritual warfare when it comes to warlocks, witches, and things like that. And I'll be back with another video. Talk to y'all soon.